Welcome back to the coil building tutorial series. In this video, we're going to be doing the no stretch Alien Fused Clapton. I'm Sherlock Holmes, and on this channel I do build tutorials like this, product reviews, giveaways, live streams, all kinds of cool stuff. So if you're new here, definitely consider subscribing. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on basic alien stuff. I am going to go through the whole process, but my main focus in this video is going to be showing you the no stretch method. I find this method way easier. You don't have to get up, go walking across the room, stretching out your decor. When you do the stretch method, you have three options. Either you overstretch it and your whole build is shot, you nail it, which is rare even for the best of us, or you understretch it. Then you've got to alter your tension, your pinch, as you go on the fly. I don't know about you guys, but for me, the majority of the time I understretch it kind of intentionally. That way to A, guarantee that I don't overstretch it, and B, give me a little bit of flexibility so as I'm making it, I can control what's going on. And the no stretch method is almost the same thing when you think about it. You're just doing the stretch as you go. Regardless if you understretch it or do the no stretch, it's pretty much the same principle. You're using the tension, the pressure of your fingers to stretch out that decor as it's leading up to your cores. Alright, enough talking, let's jump into this. Like most other builds, we're just going to use standard tools. I'm using a drill and a swivel setup. I can't imagine doing it without swivels these days. You need a pair of pliers and wire cutters. And for the wire, I'm using 26 gauge and 36 gauge nichrome 80, so it's going to be an all nichrome build. You can use Kanthal cores, you can use stainless steel cores, you can use Kanthal outer wrap, you can use a 38, you can alter it however you want. Just make sure you check your resistance and know what you're getting into before you get started. Changing up the material will alter your final resistance. I find nichrome and stainless steel are the easiest to work with for me personally for the outer wrap. The resistance on this coil when I'm finished should be around 0.2, 0.22, somewhere in that area. In order to get that, I'm going to need to do a 6 wrap on a 3mm. To do that, I'm going to use 3 9-inch cores, so 3 26 gauge cores. I'm going to measure out 27 inches, obviously divided by 3 is the 9. I'm going to straighten that whole thing just by pulling it. You can alternatively stick this in your drill and twist it until straight. I will inevitably cut these up into 9-inch pieces, but for right now, what I'm going to do is measure 18 inches and cut there. That's going to give me one 9-inch piece and one 18-inch piece, and I'm going to use that 18-inch piece of 26 gauge as my Clapton. So when I'm making that decor, that alien wrap, I'm going to use that to Clapton on top of. Alright, so I'm going to set that 9-inch piece aside. I'm going to start now on making my decor. So I'm going to take that 18-inch piece, attach it to the swivel, 90-degree angle bend in the opposite end, stick that in the chuck. Make sure it's in the center, it'll just make your life a lot easier. You want this Clapton really nice and tight, not so much tight as like tension on the spool, but tight as in wrap to wrap. You don't want any spacing in this. That will throw off your whole groove as you're wrapping the alien. I'm just making a really big piece of decor here because I don't want to have to worry about having not enough. That always sucks, so personally I always make more. But rule of thumb, an extra 4 to 6 inches more than your core size should do the trick. I'm going to cut off the 36 gauge, but I'm going to leave a 1-inch tail on the decor, and to make sure I can get this off of the 26 gauge core nice and smooth, what I'm going to do is grab that tail, flip my drill in reverse, and give it a nice little spin. Don't spin the shit out of it, just enough so that it'll slide smooth back and forth down the core. With aliens, whichever way you Clapton, so if you're Claptoning clockwise, you're going to wrap the alien counterclockwise. That's what enables you to get that alien shape and for everything to just lay down nicely. So if you're most comfortable wrapping clockwise, do the Clapton counterclockwise. Do it the opposite way that you're comfortable with. That way when you go to wrap the alien, you're moving the direction that you're used to and that you're comfortable with. Now I'm going to pull it off. Take it out of the drill. I'm going to snip off that 90-degree angle and just slide the decore right off. Clip off the other end so I've got nice non-janky wire. I'm gonna cut this piece in half and then stack them all together and cut them so they're all nice and even. Now we have our decore and we have our cores. Now we're ready to set our cores for the Alien Fused Clapton. I'm gonna start with all 3 pieces lined up and parallel, and I'm going to attach them to the swivel. There are many different ways to do this. You just want to make sure that they're secure and that they're all straight and in a line. Paper clips are optional. I'm showing them to you because it's a good way to start in case you're using too much tension. Too much tension on the decore as you're wrapping the alien will cause your cores to fold in. So there's 2 main things that are going to cause your cores to fold, and that is shitty swivels and too much tension or pressure on your fingertips on that decore as you're wrapping it. That tension will pull those cores together as they're trying to spin and just do that triangle on you and just completely fuck up your beautiful coil. I'm going to only use 2 paper clips. You can use more if that's going to help you. The more you use, the more stable your cores are going to be. So I'm just going to throw a couple in just to make sure that they're stabilized, working my way down, making sure that everything is nice and straight and in line and parallel. You want to make sure there is absolutely no slack in these cores and that everything is lined up perfectly. I say it in every video, guys, the prep is going to make or break your build, so do it right. Working my way down, I'm using tension, keeping the slack off of them. When I get down to the chuck end, I'm going to make a bend in each of the cores in opposing directions, forming a triangle so that each one fits in a different slot of the chuck. Tighten down the chuck with all 3 cores as centered as possible, but remaining parallel, flat, and straight, and keeping all the slack out of the cores. Spend your time, get this right. We're ready to get rocking with our actual alien wrap. A couple pointers before we get into this, before I start wrapping. I keep my hand and my pinch about 12 to 15 inches away from the core. The further you keep your hand away, the more control that you're gonna have. The distance will help correct any kind of changes in angle and tension. If this is the right angle and my swivels are over here, I'm just a little past 90, just a little bit, like 93 maybe. I'm using 8 or 9 inch cores. I recommend starting with like 10 inch or 11 even. That'll give you the first couple inches to really kind of burn up that wire and get your groove, find your tension, find your angle. That way, once you get the hang of it, you still have enough wire left for a usable pair of coils. But that's what it's going to come down to, because it's kind of different every single time. You need to figure out the pinch, how much tension to put on your decore, and the angle. And the angle is actually kind of the easy part. If you hold your hand far enough away and just give it a little bit, you should be okay with the angle. So it comes down to tension, and you do not need as much tension as you would think. You're gonna know immediately if you have too much or not enough. You can go through a lot of wire and a lot of time learning this, so just kind of be patient with it. I highly recommend that you don't give up and you practice until you can get it, because it is a whole world of difference being able to do the no stretch method. If you have any questions or any tips and tricks of your own for the no stretch method, leave them in the comments. I'm going to have more tutorials coming out very, very soon, so make sure you're subscribed. Hit that bell to make sure that you're notified when I post new content. If you liked this video, tickle that like button. Follow me on Instagram at sherlockhohms. Don't forget to leave any requests for future build tutorials in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.